Hello, everybody! Welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns, broadcasting a Link to the Past Randomizer Survivors of Hyrule tournament. We got the quarterfinals. It's game 4. Today it's Daaanty versus Skele. They're playing Swordless mode. Commentating first, we have Clear Mouse and Arier, and tracking is Lady Loralinda. Say hello.
Yo, hello everyone. Hey Ari, Lady Loralinda. It is a pleasure to be here. Ari, are you excited for some swordless action?
I'm super excited. I'm excited not to be playing this mode. So.
Yeah. And in fact, I was even thinking, like, in my head earlier, like, I think it'd actually be kind of cool to hear, like, the sword, slashes and the, swings and the whatever. And it's like, oh no, I guess, you know what? We're only gonna be seeing like the very, like, hand, arm, whatever poking animation. I think that's gonna be. And we're gonna have to, rely on our imaginations, for the rest.
Yeah, but it's there's definitely some interesting things about the mode, and I'm sure that both these runners will put up a great show. There's
oh heck yeah.
There's going to be some different things. Not having a sword really makes some dungeons a lot harder, makes some bosses a lot harder, and I'll be excited to see how it goes. It's gonna be a pretty frustrating mode depending on what bosses are required early on.
yeah, that's really very true. And so Swordless, I think on paper, Swordless actually has a lot of very interesting concepts, right? Like, so it actually, I think, also gives you a much better appreciation or stronger appreciation for actually when you do have the sword, just because I think there are just a lot of things that when you start off, you take some things for granted, and then suddenly when you don't have it, you're like, oh my gosh, like the sword was actually such a nice quality of life upgrade. For example, well, we always are looking for those boots, but dashing without a sword, right, is actually kind of one of those like things that you probably don't necessarily notice until you don't have a sword. But on the other hand, though, Swordless, as you mentioned, there are actually, like, it forces you to actually get very, very creative. And some bosses, I mean, like, the sword actually does, like, absolute wonders. And I'm actually really excited to also see what Skele and Daaanty come up with. These two are extremely excellent players. You know what? That green 20 is a little... we've already got our first sword that we cannot have. FYI.
So
it's a
little
cool.
Insulting, isn't it?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that too. Not quite necessarily vanilla swords, I guess, in the pool, since it wasn't Secret Passage, not uncool. It looks like, though, yeah, we do have some divergent starts. So Skele decides to start at Sanctuary, and it looks like I didn't actually even quite catch what was on Lumberjack, but it didn't look very useful, so we're not gonna have to necessarily worry about Aga quite yet.
Yeah, Aga is definitely still not off the table, so we'll have to see if we get a cape or a hammer to actually get into Aga Tower.
Yeah. So of course, normally, in a non-swordless mode, we're always kind of keeping an eye out, right? If you get, let's say, like early cape, early lamp, and it's suddenly things become very, very suspicious, right? Oh wow, okay, there's a really nice moon pearl there in the Lost was drop down, but here you have I guess like slightly different set of equipment that you want to do, and one of the things that I think people that you really do appreciate when you go back to using swords is how nice that sword is when you're fighting Aghanim himself. The hammer, unfortunately, does not hold its mallet, candle, whatever, to the sword when deflecting those beams.
Yeah, it's rough for sure.
Yeah, and especially, of course, this is so Aga is not necessarily like a considered, I would say, like an easy boss, but it's certainly once you kind of get up, once you get to Aghanim himself, even especially in the playing casually or in the earlier game, the boss itself is not too bad, but suddenly this is actually one of those bosses that become extremely much more difficult than you might expect. So something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, after the early diversions were converging into bottom 2 Kakariko, Skele had a little bit of an unfortunate first couple laps for getting the bombs, but then he managed to get free in free trips, which is average.
Yes. By the way, are you convinced that those are 50-50 bombs? Because sometimes bushes, I mean, sometimes they really don't seem like they can be 50-50. Like, I mean, there's a lot of, I'm sure, like PRNG going on, but I've suddenly seen people get 4 out of 4 bombs in 2 tries, and then they're all happy. And then sometimes you see runners spending 6, 7 tries right in order to just get 1 bomb, and it's very, very sad to see.
Yeah, but that's randomness.
It is. You just hope that luck is kind of like on your side. While it does not feel great to kind of keep farming those bombs all the time, it is hopefully not going to be as like a make or break type of situation. Like you hope you don't necessarily lose by like bomb farming time.
Yeah, exactly. Which is probably why Daaanty decided to just go with 2 bombs instead of the preferred 3, and especially having to open up the race game role as well kind of limits the amount of
that's true too, right?
Possibilities you have here in Kakariko.
Yeah. So at least so it's outside of just us not having a sword. Oh wow, okay, there's a glove. We already have almost. If we have a Dark World access with that hammer, we're gonna be sitting real pretty. Real pretty, and only on 3 hearts. Are you ready to go to the Dark World potentially, Ari, after Kakariko?
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Daaanty is probably a little happier with his 4 that he got from Uncle. So
you're right. You're absolutely true.
A little comfier, but on the other hand, it doesn't matter. Like Swordless Dark World early on is not comfortable either way. Both the runners deciding to farm some bombs from the restock room here.
Yeah,
this is actually a good option to have.
Yeah, no, right. And this is actually, I'm really glad to see both runners kind of remembering that this hut exists. You don't usually see people bombing this place open in non-entrance, or maybe you're on a spoiler log or something, right? And and then you're like, okay, this is my best option in order to get resources. Given that we don't really have a lot of money, you need to go buy bombs. I think this is actually going to be a very good resource for them to take. Of course, we're gonna. Yeah, I think both of our runners are probably hoping we're gonna get a little bit more items to their name. So even though we did pick up as we saw Ether on the race game. Typically speaking, of course, the medallions, you do need a sword. So we really can't spam the medallions. Really, they are going to be like designated areas that we can use it. But in terms of combat or anything like that, I think these runners are on their own. In terms of trying to be creative and getting out of the rooms.
Yeah, we luckily got the fire out, which is a really amazing weapon in Swordless. It's something that kills most enemies in 1 hit, and yeah, of course you're limited by magic, but it's one of the more reliable weapons. Like if you don't have a hammer.
Yeah.
Like we also got the money, which is great for being able to get Ball Vendor immediately. Nice 10 bombs as well, especially for Daaanty, who only did 1 trip through the restock.
And the fact that we're kind of like at the end of our Kakariko route, it kind of means that we are going to have full bombs basically going out into the wild. But as you said, we do have a fire route, get a couple of magic shots or whatever pot pickups earlier, so we do have a little bit in this case firepower to our name, but those 10 bombs are probably going to be the primary source of weaponry until we end up finding something else, like a hammer, hopefully.
The hammer is the only really permanent weapon that you have in this mode, and like or rather an ammo-less weapon. The bow usually does a lot of heavy lifting together with the fire rod, but yeah, the hammer is really the linchpin of the mode.
Yeah. Wait, so you're telling me that the chances of bow landmos just went up? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, we have the fire rod, so no.
That is true. That is true. Oh, my hopes have been dashed again. I'm saying maybe in general for Swordless, right? If you can't really use a sword, maybe just gives you just ever so 1 fewer option.
Yeah. So. Something that we didn't mention yet, in the library we did see that the ice rod was sitting on top of there, so
true.
Depending on our crystal pendant layout, we'll probably need the boots at least for that. That's also
one of the potential few times maybe you're hoping that Turtle Rock is a crystal, right? Because you do definitely see a boost locked required item for Tridex.
Yeah, you would think that, oh, well, there's this really important item that's on the library. I'll surely get the boots really early on.
Oh, yeah, surely. Well, we could really cross our fingers here. Yeah, I certainly remember there have been certainly many instances, probably from main tournaments or past tournaments. Speaking of the bow, sometimes this is our first of 2 potential bows that we have in the pool. As you mentioned, see the bow is, so we actually do have a little bit of ammo, actually a good number of arrows on both for Daaanty and Skele, but having a ranged weapon and actually a pretty powerful one is actually really nice early game.
Yeah, just having the ammo and to be able to deal with enemies.
Yeah, Skele has been practicing its archery game. At least he managed to get the
from the side.
Yeah,
it's so hard from the
so
side.
Hard. Yeah, it looks like Skele was ready to basically spend one of his hard-earned fire rod shots, and we're gonna see what Mini Moldrum has today. Early hearts always really nice to see. We don't have the sword also is as much offense as it is for defense. While you might complain a little, maybe you want to death warp a bit more. You have the mirror. The early health is really not something to. It's definitely something to appreciate.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you're going to take a lot more incidental hits than you would in any other mode. And at least I think that in this version of Swordless, the item pool isn't really affected, aside from, well, obviously the swords and the bow/silvers.
Yeah, I believe you're right. I don't think there's any type of modified hard item pool or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Daaanty.
Yeah, that was some really good sniping.
All right, so we are 451. Okay. I was gonna ask, at what threshold of rupees would you farm the 20 rupee cave and then make your way to the water checks? Because we do have a pearl. We are really close to Zora money.
It's hard to say. Maybe with 1 or 2 trips, I would be slightly more inclined. But on the other hand, you have Saha plus Eastern open, and
true.
That isn't guaranteed for 6 items, and later on you might just want to, I don't know, have Houlihan, so you also have pot money. Something like that might be a little bit more tempting, but yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, no, that's actually a very good point. It is that, especially I guess with the glove and logic, it's very easy to kind of, I guess, focus on, trying to get Zora. But as you said, we are actually, so we have 6 items coming out of the eastern area. We have, if we get a pearl, we get a hammer, we have Dark World access, and then we actually might want to go do, other things that actually require more money, right? As you said, bow and a hammer. While pot is maybe not the safest of all places, it is a place that these runners, I'm sure, are very, willing to go to, so that requires money. Or maybe they want to do dig game, right? Or go to Village of Outcasts. All this stuff kind of requires money, and you don't really want to be in a situation where you do not have any financial capability of affording what you want to do.
Yeah, definitely. And 400 is this awkward point where you kind of want to wait a little bit before committing to Zora, but you also don't want to go out of your way to get the money for Zora, because then, like you said, you're going to be in that awkward spot in either the pod or food area.
Yeah, and of course, both Daaanty and Skele kind of already invested a little bit of time, in farming bombs. Maybe, that they don't really want us to spend any more time kind of farming things where, potentially speaking, maybe in this case, Skele goes to Easter, right? And then he's going to be able to get some money, in this case, from the chest. Daaanty, though, speaking of money, he is swimming out of Hobo, because Hobo was, apparently is actually a hidden 50 heir, I guess.
Yeah, so I think he would probably commit to Waterfall Ferry either way, even if he didn't get any money from the hobo. But this makes it an easy cutoff to make sure you don't have to come back to this area ever again.
Yeah, that's very fair.
So at least some ease of mind.
So, okay, so we also need to hope that Daaanty doesn't get a heart refill, right? Because we only have this water walk and nothing else.
Yeah, but at least that's not going to be an issue because he has Moon Pearl, so he's going to get back into a Water Walk state coming out of Waterfall 3.
Oh, right, because we can reset it. That's right. Okay. So he does get powder out of Waterfalls, so that's actually going to be pretty convenient when we eventually go over to Village of Outcasts. Assuming, of course, we have a hammer. And, of course, Daaanty, a sigh of relief, I'm sure, and only seeing 20 rupees on the ledge, so don't have to do anything fancy in order to try and sequence break that item out.
Yeah. But a big moment of truth is probably going to be here. Also, Skele did find a 300 in Eastern, which means
that was also really nice.
That Daanty's not going to have any money problems. That is...
Oh, that is a super nice item. Okay, so hopefully, Skele, for both his sake, the movement of the game's sake, and his teammates' sake, he is going to go visit Sora.
Yeah, that's probably going to be pretty relevant. And... like, this is... The hookshot is kind of, like the hammer, really important for the sake of... more for the sake of defensive maneuvering. It's nice to be able to get past enemies, stun enemies, and especially once you get the boots, it's a lot easier maneuvering around. So, yeah, even outside of logic implications, the hookshot's just a good item to have.
Yeah, no, you brought up a really a lot of number of good points for the hookshot. And of course, one of the things, especially I guess we could take advantage of the Japanese 1.0 if you would a sword, is that we could spin speed, right? With in order after we get boots. We do not ever have that option in this mode, but the hookshot is a very, very good proxy in order to kind of be able to use super speed. So automatically then Death Mountain makes things a lot nicer, right?
Yeah, for sure. Of course, we're gonna need the boots for that first, but...
Yes, right. So, right, our first focus is certainly going to be to go find our boots. Oh. Yeah, but actually, but speaking of those, you actually saw Daaanty even coming out of Link's house, hooking basically onto, those pots, the signs, the bushes, anything. I mean, the hookshot movement is faster, too, than just being able to walk. So we're going to have a little bit of just, incremental speed ups on Daanty's side over Skele. The longer, of course, he puts off that hookshot.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be that long, because there's not that much left. Skele has mostly just the Agino, which Daaanty checked earlier, we know is nothing.
That's right, it was 3 bombs.
And Hyrule Castle. So Hyrule Castle's most likely just going to be the next stop, and then Skele just doesn't have that much left, aside from coming to Sora.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Ideally, he would like to. Yeah, ideally, we would like to be able to have the hookshot before we go to Hyrule Castle. But it's all gonna wash out to be hopefully about the same.
Yeah, the hookshot movement advantages are very slight incremental. I think people kind of overstate how much time it actually saves. So it's not going to be a make or break scenario.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Compared to have a runner having boots 20 minutes longer than
no, that's certainly true, right? I mean, we actually see that there was a little bit of time save because a couple of screen transitions, right? Daaanty was able to hook over to the map chest versus Skele kind of take a run. But as you said, just incremental stuff. Nothing too terrible, nothing to fret about very early in the seed.
Yeah, and Skele just had a really solid Eastern as well, just no hiccups. Being able to use the Fire Rod for gifted with greenies. He's just been having a really solid seed so far.
Yeah, and the fact that so Daaanty of course started at Link's house very early, as a starting point, and they immediately came up to Uncle and they kind of left. Skele's gonna be able to save a little bit of time over Daaanty by only kind of making looks like it's gonna be one trip in, right? Both for Uncle, Secret Passage, and then the rest of Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll have to see here if Dark Cross is required. It is in logic with the Fire Rod, but if there is, if we do not get a small key from the first guard here, coming up, then we know that the small key is going to be in the Dark Cross chest, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, no, that's actually a very excellent observation for logic. Normally, I was just thinking, I was like, oh, you're right, it can be in the back, but looks like then we don't have to go to Dark Cross. Is that what we're seeing? Because we got Blue Mail? Yeah, nice.
And that Blue Mail is going to be great as well. Just having the extra buffer. We already have a lot of hearts and a lot of safety. Yeah, with the powder and hookshot that Daaanty has at his disposal right now, he's going to be yeah, in a very comfortable spot once.
Yeah, and actually the fact that right, actually, I mean, the fact that you actually mentioned that, you know, in this case, we don't have, logically speaking, we don't have to go to Dark Cross, right, for that small key. Skele's probably also pretty happy. He doesn't want to, he doesn't have to death warp, right, with all of a sudden all this extra health, right, and extra armor.
Yeah. Nice reflex on Daanty's side, like trying to charge his sword to get a spin here for the Popos.
Oh, the muscle memory is so good. Now, of course, I was going to say, actually, Ari, do you know how in this case, like oh wow, all right, that is okay. So those are myths in Zelda Cell. We have Dark World access. I think that Hookshot might be put off just a little bit longer on Skele's side because it looks like he's gonna take a trip into Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, that could definitely have implications. On the other hand, we have to see if Daaanty actually goes to Hyrule Castle. Like, he probably knows that logically that's what is going on, but he might also think that it's just going to be the lamp in there. And he might just go to Death Mountain first, which means he's going to have a second trip once he gets the mids after Death Mountain trip.
Also, good point.
But yeah, the mids, it's probably not the Dark World access you want in Swordless.
Yeah. Is it any, like, is Miss Dark World access ever wanted, out of curiosity? Not even in Swordless versus, like, Hammer?
It's it's weird. Okay.
It is. We did see a disappointing pendant on Turtle Rock. That was the only thing that I ended up catching from Skele's map check.
Yeah, the other one was Meyer, so we might not even see the flute either.
Oh my gosh, Ari! I know it's kind of late, but some of us are still just waking up here. You can't like put these potential no boots, no flute type of seat here, right? That would be very sad.
I mean, that's going to be a nice seat to fall asleep to. But...
All right, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, but also, of course, our wonderful tracker, Lady Laura Linda, she is doing all of the hard work, basically, keeping track of everything and all of the different items and pendant prizes that we have. So thank you so much.
Yeah, interesting decision here from Skele to dumpster dive Skullwoods immediately. We don't have a bottle or a magic refill to really reliably kill him off. Like, theoretically, you could kill him off with 8 fire rod shots. But you also need the fire rod to use the fire rod to actually get there. So it's going to be awkward.
Yeah, no, that's definitely very true. And of course, in Swordless, right? Typically, not Swordless. There's typically the vines, right? That it kind of requires you to have a sword behind, for Mothula. But that curtain has already been pre-cut for us. But actually, maybe it looks like Skele is maybe just gonna dive Skullwoods without killing Moth. We did go to the back first, but decided to at least explore out the front.
Yeah, it's definitely a decision to be made. It just means that you kind of lose some time by not being able to single dip it. Of course, the front of Skullwoods, some people actually used to consider it as part of the overworld. So just be playing slightly conservative and kind of hedging your bets to make sure that you don't get caught off guard by if your opponent checks it early and finds the hammer there, for example. Like it's definitely a reasonable decision to make. And yeah, Daaanty here is going to go straight to Death Mountain because it is a whole lot of checks. You can basically do everything aside from Turtle Rock and Hera.
Oh, yeah, that's true, right? Because we got the mids, and while he doesn't necessarily need a mirror, he can basically sequence everything, right, in order, such that he has all of Light and Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's not logic yet. We don't have the lamp, we don't have a flute. So anything that is here is like, you might think, okay, well, if he finds the lamp here, then he knows that the flute is somewhere in Light or Dark World proper. If the flute is here, then at least he knows that the lamp is out there somewhere. So it's not going to be a huge deal, but it's something to keep in mind.
Oh yeah, no, that's certainly true. And then Daaanty, I assume he's gonna do a map check at some point, but he hasn't done the Dark World map check yet. So the fact that, as you pointed out before, Meyer is also a pendant, so maybe we may not never see that flute, which also would have some pretty strong logical implications as well.
Yeah, that would definitely mean that we're going to need the book for sure. Oh no, we don't, because Blessed is a pendant. So never mind anything I say.
Oh. We could still use the book, though. I mean, it's certainly, you know, something could be on the tablet, but maybe not necessarily hard required at the initial glance, looking at our pendant layouts. I mean, there is absolutely nothing, by the way, from stopping something very important being on Saha, for example, right?
Yeah.
With the turn in.
Definitely. Yeah, that he found a bottle in Specrock. So...
Yeah, with a fairy. So that's going to be Sick Kid. An additional check for when we go back to Kakariko. So he's got, well, we don't have the hammer or the mirror yet, so Magic Bat is not quite on the table, but Sick Kid going back is definitely going to be something that he could take care of.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, though, yeah, so about this, you know, hammer, a lack of hammer, even in Swordless, the one thing that we're looking for, of course, is that very valuable tempered inducing damage for the hammer. Skele is here in Crystal Thieves Town. We still absolutely need that hammer in order to guarantee our way of full clearing, at least from the onset. Skele is, I'm assuming he's taking, he's taking damage on purpose, right? I'm like, he's not just wobbling into, he's not just getting terrible enemy RNG, right? Okay, he is actually trying to take a bit of damage, get the front four, and then head out, do our lap, presumably in Dark Worlds.
Yeah, I assume that he's warping out because he also doesn't have any way to damage blind. So maybe if there was a blue or red cane. Oh, there's the blue cane. Okay, see? Now the question is, do we continue? No, he's not. Okay.
Looks like no. I unfortunately was not tracking or keeping account of how many items we did see in the front. At least 2. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So maybe Skele just doesn't want to take that chance right now. Not the most terrible 4 screens in order to repeat. You know, it's very common that, you know, some people, as you mentioned earlier, take the front of Skullwoods as overworld. Some people take the front 4 of Thieves Town as overworld. So
yeah, exactly. The cape's also, it's a very nice item to have. It's not as nice as it is in a sword mode, just because you can't actually combine your Y item together with damage.
True.
So that's a little awkward, but on the other hand, it's just such a nice safety to have.
Yeah. Speaking of, we ended up getting both safeties actually quite quickly. I believe Skele also scouted Bumper Ledge, not worth his time. So it's just gonna be, you know, for us to have, so we don't die.
Yeah, Daaanty having to do a kind of a loop around through Paradox Cave, missed the bomb jump, decided, okay, I'm not gonna try that a second time. Kind of wants to conserve bombs as well.
Yeah, and all right. So we don't have to worry about we don't have to worry about silvers today. Well, at least we can actually use them before we end up going up to GT and Ganon. Part of, I guess, one of the features of this particular Swordless mode is that 2 progressive bows. So Skele and of course presumably Daaanty also is going to find both of them. But in the case that they do not find silvers, guaranteed silvers and the Moldrum chest. So you will have silvers for Ganon. Don't have to hop in, you know, go all the way to phase 4 to get the silver's hint and then, you know, hop back out. Ooh.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
It is. Right, so as also maybe observed, right? So Myers a crystal pendant, Turtle Rock is a pendant. You know, so right side right side GT has not always been Daanty's friend. You know, I'm thinking of a particular league race that maybe did not necessarily go his way. But we may not need the King of Samaria.
Yeah, but it's a nice assurance to have. Like, it might lead you to some decisions you don't want to make, like dipping either of the pendants, but at least knowing that you have it for a GT, for the 5 in 22, is really nice to have.
Yeah, and plus, like, you get a lot of really just, like, nice benefits, right? For example, all the Wizrobe's runes, right? You can still use the Cane of Samaria for. When we do eventually go into Ice Palace, the cane is always appreciated. You don't have to, you know, loop all the way around. Definitely save us a good amount of time.
Yeah, very good point as well. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's the mirror. All right. So there are a lot of goodies here up in Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, that's a very spicy item to find.
Oh,
and
all right.
There is the hammer. All right.
Yeah, so I mean, so the loop around was definitely required on Skele's side, so very good on him to basically just do the front 4 of Thieves and then just peace out, because his patience was rewarded, getting the hammer out of Hype Cave, so now we can actually fully clear out Thieves Town with no worries whatsoever.
Yeah, being able to clear out Thief's Town, being able to also go to the back of Skullwoods.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I just kind of forget about Mothula because he doesn't always seem like that much fun. But the fact that is like even like the hammer, I think in this case makes it significantly easier in order to handle.
Yeah, on the side, it also seemed like all the medallions are easily accessible, so we don't have to worry about those. Aside from the fact, obviously, that it's the 2 pendants, but Skele did find both Quake and Bombos throughout his Dark World loop.
True. Actually, in Swordless, right? So we are actually able to use Bombos in a couple of like the Ice Palace rooms. Are they ever worth it to use if you have Fire Rod?
If you have Fire Rod, probably not. The animation for Bombos is just so long. On the other hand, like for Cold Stare, it's probably worth it, just because only having the hammer for the fight is really rough.
Yeah,
having the 6 Fire Rod shots as safety is probably worth the time investment.
Yeah, actually, right. And so, right, you mentioned kind of towards the beginning of this race is that some bosses become inadvertently more difficult. I mean, talk about an already difficult boss becoming even more difficult. Right, those is one of the things where any type of fast strat or even safe strat for Cold Stare, right, requires kind of like you sword spin, right, and try and keep the puffs as together as for as long as possible. That is not an option in Swordless.
No, definitely, and. Yeah, Cold Stare is probably like one of the more consistently hard fights in Swordless, unless you have like half magic together with Fire Rod. The most lopsided one is probably Vitreous, like between like no bow silvers.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and the fact that Skele found silvers in race game, and presumably Daaanty, if assuming he also does his lap, right, he's also gonna stumble upon silvers. Yeah, Vitreous should not be too much concerned, assuming we have to go kill Vitreous today.
Yeah, it's definitely more a general thing. But boss fights are very lopsided in this mode. Like either you can trivialize them with certain items, or they are just nearly impossible. Yeah, another pretty tough fight coming up for Skele here. Obviously, he has like a decent amount of safety with regards to health and all that, but yeah, no real magic, only the hammer. Of course, it only takes 4 hammer hits to kill him off here, but the spikes can be rough. But it was good spot, very nice fight.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no. Skele looks like he has done this fight once or twice. I believe we also found all four swords, by the way.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily rubbing salt into the wounds, but it's certainly I don't even think for even like a normal seed you probably find gold sword all that often. But the fact that we're here in Swordless, suddenly we found all 4 of them in basically the span of 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely not a given, and sometimes you just go a whole Swordless seeds with only like finding one or two of the 20s.
Yeah. And so maybe you don't feel as bad, or maybe you don't miss the swords as much. All right, so this is going to be Daanty's. This is going to be his silvers. So be certainly quite happy to see them. Meanwhile, though, yeah, at the roughly 30-minute mark, Skele has landed his first crystal. He is going. It looks like he's going to walk out of Skullwoods, unfortunately for the second time. And he is presumably going to go finish up Thieves Town and claim his next crystal. So he's making great progress, at least. Of course, we do know that he does have, at some point, needs to go over to Zora. Maybe he'll do that, presumably, maybe after he gets the flippers, right? Head over to Ice Palace and then kind of on their way, go visit the Zora area.
Yeah, that's probably one of the more likely scenarios. If the flippers are not locked behind the mirror or something.
That's very true too.
I mean, it's pretty unlikely that it's locked behind the hookshot at this point, but it could still be in like some weird mirror locked spot. And then it's a bit of a more awkward scenario. But it could also just be that the flippers are going to be in Paths of Darkness, and Skele will find those, and from there on out it's a lot easier to do it after ice, for example.
Yeah, that's right. We in this case we've been so focused and spent all of our time here in the village of Outcasts and Skullwoods. There is the whole east side of Dark World that we haven't visited yet.
Yeah, yeah. As far as Daaanty is concerned, it's not logic just yet. But once we find the hammer in Hype Cave, then we have a decision to make. The whole world will be open for him at that point. And yeah, at least the mirror was early enough for Daaanty that the world is not going to be like littered with small green dots all over the place. But yeah, it's still pretty hard to sequence everything properly and be efficient. And
yeah,
there are enough spots open that you just kind of want to do dungeons first, I feel.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Right, and especially it's also very difficult to sequence things when you don't really know what you're gonna find in some of these, right? You can't really kind of like plan ahead, right? So like, okay, I'm gonna save this after I get the blank item, but then, you know, if you never get the blank item, you get it in an awkward time, then suddenly, you know, your very well curated plans kind of have to unfortunately be resequenced.
Yeah, you do kind of plan ahead. It's like, okay, if I do find this, then I kind of want to have this done already, or I want to wait with X because if I find a certain item, it will become more efficient later. So you do, at least I kind of try to plan around that, but of course it doesn't always work out.
No, that's another feature of Rando, right? Oh, Daaanty, what are we doing?
I think Daaanty was considering whether he wants to do Hype Cave first or drop off the purple chest first.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, looks like we're gonna drop off the purple chest first then. Oh yeah, I meant to ask, I don't know if you necessarily caught this either, did Daaanty go visit Sick Kid before going to Dark World?
I don't think so, man. He might have missed that, but
yeah, I mean, I just didn't notice. Sure. Yeah. But yeah, somehow though he has 2 bottles, and I mean, and while it's not necessarily the freest of checks, or like, you know, but it is something that was available to him in Light World. All right, but it's gonna be good because he's gonna go back, right, and he's gonna be able to you get his hammer, and then he has definitely another chance in order to go talk to Sick Kid.
Yeah. All right.
Nice. Speaking of blind, we're just gonna pull out the Cane of Burna.
Yeah, I was thinking, okay, this is going to be an interesting fight, and then it's like, all right, yeah, we have Blue Cane. This is going to be nice and comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like you can certainly, you know, in this case, use your permanent weapon, which is the hammer. I mean, but if you have the cane, yeah, there's no, I think probably no real reason to take any real risks here. Although speaking of though, it looks like Daaanty's gonna put off at least Blind and Village of Outcasts and Skullwoods area just for a little bit longer heat, where it looks like we're going to pod.
Yeah. Okay, I thought maybe he was going to go to Pyramid first, but going straight to pod is a very reasonable choice. Yeah, we're going to have some interesting decisions to make here. Like, Daaanty has a lot of dungeons possible to do. Like, he has Heria, he has pod, he can finish off Skullwoods and Thieves Town. He can even fake Flipper into ice. He's like actually only looking for the flippers right now, and yeah, those could be anywhere.
Yeah, that's, oh man, right. They can't be in swamp and they can't be at ice, but other than that, yeah. Oh well, what? Oh, that's right. So Daaanty hasn't been back to Village of Outcasts because we just got our hammer in Hype Cave, but Skele. You know, that's actually a really nice find for Skele. I don't know if he wants to dive mire, you know, per se, but the movement of the flute is going to be really good.
Yeah, that's that might swing things just a little bit. Like, Daaanty has a lot of these items right now, but it also means he has a lot more to clear. And
yeah.
If Skele, in his limited amount of checks, does find the flippers, and he's going to get funneled into the hook shot, which then leads to the mirror, then he'll suddenly just be in an amazing spot because Daaanty will have a lot more to clear, and like there's going to be a smaller chance that he actually stumbles upon the flippers. Because he might try to do things more efficiently and more condensed than Skele actually has the opportunity to do right now.
Yeah, and you know the fact also, like, for example, like we in K45, right, which is mirror locked, Daaanty picked up the mushroom. I mean, while Daaanty doesn't even have the flute, he can still choose to turn the mushroom in, but if it doesn't turn to anything, it's just going to be, you know, Daaanty spending like a minute and a half or whatever of his life, you know, doing something that was not going to pay out. So
yeah, that's a good example for sure.
Yeah, so despite, in this case, Skele not having a mirror in order to do the smith chain, that flute certainly does at least help out in the second leg.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it definitely speeds up the prop chest quite a bit.
It looks like we are actually going to walk over to Agina, so I guess Skele doesn't want to necessarily isolate this one check. It's certainly very reasonable on his side. We, of course, know it's 3 bombs from Daaanty.
Yeah, it might just be at the spot where he kind of wants to hedge his bets to make sure that if Daaanty does check this early, that it's not going to be something that is actually going to ruin the entire seed.
Exactly, yeah.
So, very solid decision to make right now.
Yeah.
It also shows that he's probably not feeling behind enough to be like, okay, well, this location is absolutely dead to me. So that's probably a good feeling for him to have.
Yeah, that's actually really good. Like, I don't know if it's like considered meta or anything, but that's actually really good insight. You know, just kind of thinking like in a race mentality, right? Like, okay, this is the stuff I've done so far. This is my progress. How can I sequence like the rest of, how should I adjust my strategy type of thing. Yeah, well, speaking of the... Alright, so Daaanty walked over to Pod. Skele has fluted over to Pod. Looks like we have both the same type of expectations. Pod, of course, does have 5 items. So Daaanty just went from the front and then the Bolok side, and then he just went straight back to Helmasaur.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned that probably presumably then Daaanty is just 1 item, which is the flippers away from go mode. So I think this type of play is very reasonable in that case, right? If Helma has the flippers, there's no reason to waste your time in the back of Pod.
Yeah, and like Schultz was saying, Chad, he makes a really good point that this layout for Pod is really good for Skele because not having the mirror isn't going to burn him as much as a layout where the big keys in the back would be, for example.
True. And the fact that we have blue mail and how many hearts at this point? Skele's coming in with 7. Yeah, not quite the greatest of setups in order to get you want to death warp. I mean, I guess for the good news is that Skele doesn't have any bottles with fairies in them, so he can save him a little bit of time. But yeah, presumably then, if he doesn't have a mirror, he might just be doing a very similar route to Daaanty and just going to the back, so he can get a free mirror to the front later.
Yeah, that's what I would assume. Yeah, being able to make quick work of Helma with the Silvers as well in the second phase means it's just going to be a very solid fight for Daaanty. Picking up his second crystal versus Skele's free. Yeah, we have 2 very different routes so far to see. Like, Light World was kind of like funneled into Hyrule Castle for the mids, but from there on out, we've had 2 very, very different routes, which
completely different.
Very cool to see.
Yeah, and it kind of, I mean, like the kind of like the pivot point, I guess, was when Daaanty decided to go to Zora. Fortunately or not, he got over the 500 rupee threshold from Hobo, putting him at just over like 517 or something. Went to Zora, got his hook shot, and that opened up a lot of things, for Daaanty very early. But as you also mentioned, Eric, opening things up early, can be a blessing and a curse, right? So Daaanty right now, he is in Flipper's Go mode. The unfortunate side is that he has many places to check, right? So if Skele, since he has a lot more to look for, he could be basically like funneled into, because he just does not have the options or like the freedom that Daaanty has, or like the freedom of choice, right?
Yeah.
You can only go to so many places. So it's going to be very, very interesting to go see basically what happens here.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, as far as Daaanty is concerned right now, like, of course he has a lot of crystal dungeons to do at the moment, but he might already be thinking, oh, I'm sure that all these dungeons are gonna have nothing and I'm gonna be forced to go into Pendant, Turtle Rock without that ice rod that's on library.
Oh my gosh. Or can you imagine like the boots are in Turtle Rock or something? I mean, I don't really think about this type of scenario, but man, that is it's not necessarily like a great feeling.
Yeah, maybe Daanty's not thinking that far ahead. But like that's stuff that's very reasonable.
Yeah, they probably played this game once or twice to kind of know that the game doesn't always have to be kind. So this actually, so this is uncharacteristic, I think, fall for Skele. I mean, but again, like, I don't know how much, I guess, like the sword helps in this case with helping you to line up things in order to do Hammer Yum, but looks like he was able to get it quite well on the second time.
Yeah, Daaanty doing smart lift here with Smaria. Which is a luxury that Skele doesn't have.
Oh yeah. That's also a great point. Actually, right. So Skele has, in this case, right, he's picking up Burna. That's kind of his really only echolocation. I mean, he could use a hammer, I guess, right, in order to. But it's not like really kind of like something that's permanent that goes with you. Versus the Samaria block, there was a hook shot even, right? All these things that Daaanty has that Skele does not.
Yeah, being able to use the bow as well to kind of like stick arrows into the wall and kind of move around from there is also a good decision. But yeah, this room without a sword or lamp it's really rough. So
yeah,
they kudos to both runners for actually getting through it.
Yeah, any type of dark rooms. I mean, especially at Daaanty and Skele's level, I don't want to say anyone really takes them for granted, but certainly they are, I guess, like deprioritized in terms of difficulty. But suddenly, when you don't have a sword, I think it's also one of those things where you may not realize that these things that you kind of like taking for granted is like, of course, I know how to do dark rooms, right? Type of thing, automatically just become a little bit harder.
Yeah, especially in the dark without a sword, if you do get hit and you're suddenly in a completely different spot, yeah, all those things just really easily happen.
Yeah, and I think also to some extent there also have been like strats where even for, like dark turtles, for example, right? You sometimes use medallions. You don't have that option in Swordless. Not something to, unfortunately, I guess to appreciate.
But yeah, I have to say that both these runners are putting up a stellar show so far. Like, like it's so easy to think that, well, sword is just, okay, sure, you don't have a sword, maybe it's just the bosses, but it's everything around it. And I think that so far both these runners have just shown a lot of comfort with not taking a lot of extra damage, not like being on beat frames half the time, and it's very easy to take those things for granted. That's well, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, Hellway is going to be Hellway.
No, I mean, I don't actually like. Do you think boots will help your cause here? Out of curiosity, like as opposed to walking or with the hook shot.
I think Swordless without boots is the better mode.
You know what? That's actually potentially that potentially has some merit here, because like at least here we're always kind of wondering like, where are those boots? When are they gonna come, right? But maybe if you just take them out, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah, but I was actually gonna say, so at least for Daaanty, certainly quite the reputation. I believe that he is someone who is maybe more prolific about wanting to play Swordless. And in fact, I was just gonna ask you earlier, like how for this particular tournament, like do the modes get picked first and then the players? Is that what happens? Because somehow Daaanty landed on Swordless, which makes me think that this was intentionally like constructed on his team. But then again, maybe he just got lucky.
Yeah, I think one team picks the mode, and then both teams just like send their player in blind. I think it's something like that. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I think the captains are mostly like deciding who gets sent in.
Oh, I see.
With some discussion.
Okay, I see. Okay, right. So I guess so Daaanty is on Team Magnet. So I believe in this case Magnet probably did like the bulk of the decision making. Were you actually just out of curiosity just told like you're gonna play casual boots, Ari? Was that?
Okay, so the mode gets round show. Yeah, I think it was like, okay, casual boots got chosen. Do you want to get sent in? I'm like, yeah, sure, put me in, coach.
All right, sounds good. Players get the initial vetoes. All right, yeah, that sounds good then. Yeah, because I was gonna say, so like it's certainly, I mean, like in Rando, the beauty of and curse of Rando is that anyone can really beat anybody. Daaanty, while he's quite known for Swordless, he is not certainly undefeatable. In really any mode. For both Daaanty and Skele. But certainly it is probably a mode that again Daaanty has a lot more comfort in. Speaking of comfort, though, we're doing hammer blind, but looks like we're gonna swap over to Burna. No taking any chances here.
Yeah, probably just like he's comfortable with the first two phases, and then for the last one, just to make sure he doesn't die, he just picks up Burna. Also reduces a little bit of lag, not having Burna on all the time.
Oh yeah, that's also true too. Yeah, in Magic, of course, we have a full Magic bar. Especially after getting through the first two phases without Burna. Yeah, it shouldn't definitely be much of concern. It's just like if you use Burna for the entire fight, that is the magic usage is very tight. Like I think it's technically doable, right? On one bar, it's just very precise. All right. Okay, so we have confirmation that Daaanty had not visited Sikit before.
Oh no! Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I wish we had a face cam for that one.
Oh yeah, that is hilarious. Talk about luxuries, Ari, that Daaanty could have had or has over Skele in Dark Maze.
Yeah, I would have saved like I don't know, like 5 to 10 seconds. Also in like Pod Turtles, so it probably doesn't feel great, but that's still kind of hilarious.
No, I mean both runners ended up getting through the Dark Rooms very, very well, but it's just like, did I have to really go through that? Of course, right. All right. So I guess back to back, putting everything now in logic for Daaanty. All the stuff he did in Death Mountain. Since I think our first bottle was in Spec Rock Cave.
Yeah, with the other one being in Hookshot Cave, I believe. So both of them were just on Death Mountain.
Yeah. I guess technically there are two more. There are 2 more bottles out there, but we haven't seen them yet. So.
Yeah, they might just well be in like either in Mire Shed or in Catfish, which are 2 things we haven't seen yet, which are in logic right now.
Yeah.
All right, so the powder not paying off. Also, the powder was flipper locked, I believe.
Yeah, Waterfall Fairy had them.
Yeah, so I think Daaanty could have known that this could. Well, I mean, it could theoretically be the boots, and they might still be required. But yeah, that was more of a low percentage check, I believe. But yeah, Daanty's probably just going to activate Flute, then go back and finish Skullwoods, I would think. And then kind of even up the crystal count, and then Daaanty still has Hera to do. Oh, that's a really nice one for Skele though. That's like that makes Ice Palace like as free can get.
Yeah, we still have no. Yeah. Right. The fact that we have both bottles in this case are mountain locked, right? Which Skele hasn't been to. But yeah, so like that half magic is basically like a free, potion refill, right, for magic. So quite nice.
Yeah, that's on his way to equalize the crystal count. Skele quickly checking what's in Mire Shed. He also checked which of his free medallions he was going to use, maybe.
We do have we do have quick swap available to us, but it doesn't necessarily hurt to know which one going in. Nothing in Mire Shed though, that is going to help them, but it looks like we do have at least eyes. We have Quake, that was for Mire. I'm trying to actually remember where Quake is. Probably actually doesn't matter. No logical implications one way or another.
Yeah, it was in Chess Game, I believe.
Oh, okay. You're right. That is true. Yeah, and the Bobos was on Stumpy. Yep, and we found Ether pretty early.
Yeah.
Oh, on Race Game, yeah.
Yeah, Skele can't enter Mire yet. He doesn't have boots nor hookshot, so it's not like he can actually get into the dungeon proper.
Yeah, and even though Quake is not like the longest of the 3 animation, 1 is a pendant, and also 2, like you're hoping you don't have to go in, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the only thing that Skele has left that we haven't seen on Daanty's side is Spy Cave. So the chance that Skele is going to get the Mirror Go mode, for example, or like is going to be able to avoid anything that Daaanty has done is like getting really slim, unless it is like actually in Spy Cave.
Yeah, and I guess we're hoping in this case that well actually right. So what are we hoping for Skele to find in this case?
Yeah, if you're rooting for Skele, then Spy Cave needs to be the flippers at this point, I think. Otherwise, it's like definitely a solid advantage to Daaanty, just being able to do things so much more efficiently with the hookshot and mirror so far. Like not isolating Cave 45, being able to get through pod just a little quicker. All those small things that the mirror and hookshot have given him. Maybe that's a little equalized by the fact that Skele's had the food for a little bit longer, so he has a little bit less overworld traversal, but I do think that right now Daaanty is just going to be able to pump out efficient checks more and more.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Right. I mean, in this case, right, we've got everything you could possibly want, right? Mitts, hammer, mirror, well, and flute now for Daanty's side. So yeah. All right, so we are Skele also can take advantage of that half magic, basically going down to half a heart, and then yeah. So hopefully in this case it'll be something very good for Skele. You know, it's actually it's not flippers, but it's a very good weapon for him.
Yeah, I mean that will definitely help during Aga 2, and it's just really nice to be able to fill up your bottles with fairies if they do run out. Again, like. At this point, I don't think the runners are very concerned about dying because their equipment is just really solid. You got the hammer, you got a lot of hearts, you got the mail upgrades. But yeah, the extra assurance that you can just get fairies whenever you want is pretty good.
Yeah, right. And I don't know if we're ever gonna get boots, but you know there are a lot of bonk rocks. You know, especially for example like the one on Death Mountain just has a free fairy for you. So you know it's a very nice safety just right before GT. Looks like Skele is no lack of a sword, doesn't necessarily have like a great lineup, but he said he's bombs, so he has more than enough health in order to kind of take that extra hit. But without flippers, we're gonna go visit Homo, and then this looks like then we're gonna go in and get our hook shot.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah, the only other option is if he does Ice Palace first, but he knows that the logical progression is like actually on Zora at this point.
Yeah, and it was just really unfortunate too, because like I mean, so he had 451, I think, when he was at Ice Rod Cave, and there happened to be exactly 50 rupees, right? And again, this is just one of those like very awkward, you know, totals, right? That you may not want to do. You know, you don't want to farm money. You don't have to necessarily go to Zora. And then when he went to Eastern, you know, to go clear his first crystal, he got enough money. But then, you know, he found the bits, right? So just got to, you know, just distracted him, you know, more and more. So.
Yeah, and once you get Darkhold access, it's just really hard to actually come back. Also because you know that your opponent's probably in the same boat. Like, okay, he's probably gonna have around 450 rupees. So I'm just gonna bank on him also not gonna like checking Zora. Because it is a very big time investment to...
Yeah, exactly, right. I mean, as you mentioned, like, once you get Dark World access, you have the entire Dark World open to you. Like, granted, it's still Myth's Dark World access, you can still do a ton of stuff, right? And then so it's like, you have, well, I don't know, what, like, let's say 50 checks, right? A couple, maybe crystals to be able to clear, versus, you know, Zora, right? No boots, right? I mean, obviously, like, no hookshot, like, no, you know, like, and you don't have a flute to come back, right? It's very, I mean, like the decision is certainly very skewed, you know, for newer chats.
Yeah, very much so. Okay, we're gonna get a mushroom turn in right now. And yes, not sure. I'm kind of surprised that Daaanty hasn't committed to Hera just yet. Maybe he's kind of like hedging his bets so far. It's like, okay, what could my opponent have done before? Well, we just found all the models.
Oh wow! All right, well, that's actually a lot of because like the mushroom was also mirror lock too, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think everything was behind the mountain. So
yeah. All right, yeah. So of course, Skele picking up that hook shot immediately makes it over to the mountain. Very, very understandable, right? All of Dark Death Mountain and Light World Death Mountain has opened up to him, so this is like umpteen checks at this point. So he's gonna go get his mirror. He's gonna go get his what else did he pick up from Hookshot Cave? Something else. Samaria. That's from Spiral Cave. So these are gonna be really good items for him. But I guess we're gonna be able to, make a decision, you know, as to where we want to go. I mean, actually, so do you think? You know, the fact that Skele's up here now, like, he'll do Hera as well?
Yeah, he'll definitely do Hera. The one thing I'm wondering is, like, does this sequence and him last locating the hookshot make him feel like he's behind so much that he's just going to go straight into Turtle Rock after Hera as well?
Oh,
because that is a very real possibility too.
That's actually a really, really good point. I guess we can see... Well, okay, so he's certainly going to... Well... Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we can see, like, which Dark World portal he takes in order to get up to the mountain. But presumably he'll still take the Super Bunny one anyway, because he doesn't have a mirror.
Yeah, maybe not having a mirror actually makes him go up to the Turtle Rock portal first, just in case. So because he knows he can't open it up.
Right.
And he
That's
knows
true.
he will have Somaria after Spiral Cave. So not having mirror nor flippers just yet might just mean, okay, I'm just gonna go into Turtle Rock and see if I can get one of the two items there. Obviously, he's gonna find the mirror in Hookshot Cave then, and maybe then he'll decide on something else. Also, Hera first is an option because he doesn't have the mirror.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And of course, coming all the way up here, even though we are kind of taking the quote-unquote long way over to Hera, because, well, no mirror, but this is the only way to get over here. And it's not too big of a time loss anyway.
No, definitely not.
Speaking of that, alright, so Daaanty, looks like the first bomb didn't quite work out for him to do Hera Pod. Looks like we're good now.
Yeah, so did we find an item, or did we find map compass small key? Okay, we did find an item. Okay, cool. So there's a 50-50 that we are going to need to go into the basement.
With both fire sources, I'm sure Daaanty is more than thrilled. Speaking of being thrilled, okay, so Moldorm is a giant jerk. It doesn't matter what category. Oh, what? Jeez, I thought Daaanty was gonna get knocked off for sure.
I didn't flinch at all. No.
No.
Okay, we're gonna go into the basement.
All right. You would think at some point we could, like, any one of those shields we could use to, like, deflect or protect us from something, from, the giant, knockback that Moldorm does, but no. None of the shields help. Alright, well, so, this at least a little bit of a break for Daaanty. Gives him time to, think about what he wants to do for the rest of the seed. He's presumably, a little bit more tired, right? We're going on the hour mark now without boots, which means that we've presumably been pumping this entire time as well in order to, get across certain screens that don't let you to hookshot across.
I'm so surprised that Skele actually is committing to the basement. For him, it's a lot more awkward. He's on 14 hearts, he doesn't have the mirror, and he still has the bottle, which he's going to release, so at least he
okay, at least he remembers, yes. But as you said, though, like, we're on 13 and a half hearts on Skele's side. The Death Warp is not going to be necessarily cheap, so it looks like he's gonna try to take it as much as advantage as he can from the tiles. Was that a heart?
That was a piece of heart.
Oh, piece of heart. Okay. All right, we're gonna hope that Skele is not on a heart refill.
25% chance. Let's go.
Yeah. I think if he gets that 15th heart, he's just gonna walk out. Like, I don't
probably,
know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember when the last time he actually got a refill. It's a possibility, but.
Is this Daanty's foray into Turtle Rock?
Probably, yeah. I think that's a reasonable spot to be at. Oh, okay.
Phew.
Oh,
Okay, alright. Yeah. It's one of those things you see yourself and, you try to death warp out of, like, Hyrule Castle, Hera Basement. You see that heart piece, and you're just holding your breath, right? Please don't let this be a refill.
Yeah, I don't know what Daaanty would have left otherwise. Like, there's Mire Desert. That's like 2 dependent dungeons. Like, you can commit to 2 dependent dungeons if you don't want to commit to Turtle Rock. But yeah, I think this is reasonable.
Yeah, well, you're right. You're here on the mountain, right? And you just finished Hera. It's definitely not too bad to just kind of walk over, versus taking a whole nother mountain trip, right? You kind of already came up to do Hera, so this is practically next door, right? Versus if you want to come back later, it's gonna be another pretty expensive entry. I think you're just.
It's so easy to convince yourself to just wait until you find the boot so you can actually full clear Turtle Rock with the outro as well. But that's also a little greedy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, certainly, especially for pendant Turtle Rock, right? I guess we don't have the books, so we don't really know what's on pedestal. But I mean, that would kind of be like the only one item, right? That like only the ice rod locks Trinex, so you pretty much have to use like you have to hope there's something exactly on Trinex. So
yeah,
versus
exactly.
Turtle Rock, right? You know, has what like five checks that are presumably all could be before Trinex too. So.
Yeah, Skele's also reclimbing the mountain already. So he was actually planning to go into Turtle Rock after Super Bunny plus Hookshot Cave. Ooh, nasty fall on the anti-side.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, of course, finding the mirror is like, of course.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think he'll still commit to it at this point.
Skele is just, you know, giving us a sneak preview of what it's like to potentially play inverted as well. You know, climb the mountain 15 times in order to get to where you want to go.
Yeah, that's how it goes for sure.
Yeah. All right, we can keep going. So Daaanty, I don't think Dante's found anything in Turtle Rock so far. I remember seeing a key. I remember seeing a map, I think.
I think it was 2 keys map and big key.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Turtle Rock also apparently all the goodies are in the heart or the belly of the tortoise and not the front.
Yeah, that's all digested already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, another bottle for Skele.
Yeah, smart idea to just top off the hearts here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think Daaanty, he bought at least 2 blue potions, right? So I think he is pretty much good to go.
Yeah, he has a fairy, 2 blues, and a green. So.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Oh.
Yeah. If Daaanty does die at any point, then we're going to have words. For sure.
Yeah. Speaking of though, by the way, are you really happy to go see the book in the Vanilla Vicky chest of Turtle Rock after you've already walked all the way over from Hera? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're not gonna be happy. But...
Man, yeah,
I'm sure we'll find the shuffle as well at this rate.
Oh yeah, that's also true. Yeah, shovel. I guess we already found the mushroom. But I mean, yeah, the book is kind of one of those things where, I mean, you really kind of wish that you find it. I mean, just like with most things that open up, you know, very awkward locations, kind of wish you could find those earlier just because those locations aren't awkward and you can combine it, you know, on your first pass, right? For example, like when Daaanty turned into the purple chest or Skele turned into the purple chest, you can just check Bombo's tablet right there with the book. That is a very unfortunate location because we would like to go back there, you know, once we go, let's say, beat Swamp, but that's already go mode for us, right? So
yeah. Of course, you're just going to hope that the flippers are on both tablets, so you can go straight back into Swamp afterwards.
True. That's I like the way you're thinking. It's very hopeful and optimistic.
I try.
Mm-hmm. So actually, okay, so that should bring up a decent. So okay, so Skele has already done Spike Cave and he's already done Hera, right? So he's also gonna go through Turtle Rock, find his book. But so like Daaanty, he hasn't done Spike Cave yet. Like, do you think he might be more incentivized to go over to like check Ether Tablet and combine it with Spike Cave, or we're just going somewhere else?
I think both runners will do Ether Tablet because I think if you're committing to Turtle Rock, that you're also just going to commit to the things that you find in Turtle Rock.
Okay, that does make a lot of sense as well.
Because neither Ether nor Bombos are going to be any more lucrative in the future. Like, they're both just going to be really shitty locations to come back to. I think you're just going to commit to it. Because you don't... Like, you're not going to go into Turtle Rock, find book, and it's like, well, okay, I'll just go into desert now.
That's very true. I guess it's like the latest thing in your sphere progression, right? Like the latest thing you find. So hopefully in this case, especially since they haven't found anything else so far in Turtle Rock, you know, this investment, I guess they really want to be able to see their investment pay off.
Yeah, and I think especially Skele with how the state of the race has been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, alright, so heart piece. 20 rupees. Daanty's pulling out his blue cane of blue cane.
Alright.
Okay, we're gonna chase that book.
I also think that was all the items. I don't think we've seen both mapping compass. So at least that's something.
All right, our wonderful tracker, Lady Laurelin, has confirmed. Thank you so much for counting, because we sure worked.
I mean, I try.
no, I'm sorry. I certainly was not. You're right. I cannot speak for you, but I certainly was not. So.
Yeah, here we see Daaanty is gonna saunter over to Evitali, then probably combine it together with Spike Cave, and yeah, we'll see what happens after that. Might just be committing to Bombos, and then yeah, the last two Cannon Dungeons. And I think that's just like a 50-50 decision. You might do the front of Desert first to see if it's boots locked, and then go into Mire afterwards. Yeah, the other thing that is still open for Daaanty is Pyramid and Catfish. But that's also awkward to actually get through.
Yeah, that's also a very good point, right? Because we did see Skele head over at least a Pyramid earlier, so we know that Pyramid Fairy itself is not required. But yeah, from Daanty's perspective, Pyramid and Catfish are definitely open. These are some really, really bad arcs that potentially. I mean, like these are kind of like the specs, I guess. All over the different corners of the map that you really hope that you pick the right one to go to.
We actually also have Graveyard Ledge, which is probably the thing that neither runner really wants to go to at this point. But yeah. Yeah, I would probably say Mire puts over area. But we'll see what Daaanty decides to do here.
I'm trying to actually remember. No, right. Yeah, that's right. We have not been over to... Oh, we have been over to...
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, right, because we...
I remember now.
Yes. I was gonna say, I was trying to remember when we ended up doing the... Because I think Daaanty did it when he checked Bumper Ledge, which is also nothing.
Alright, thanks to Trek for keeping me straight as well.
Yeah. No, Lady Lorlinda is so wonderful. She is an eagle eye for everything. Like... Alright. Yeah, right. So we also have not seen Checkerboard. I was actually wondering, like, so would you at any point go and make the investment check pedestal? Do you think that would actually even be on the table? I mean, I think logically it could be, right? It would be very terrible, but
I think I guess like if we find boots, I would probably go check it.
Okay.
Because then you have to decide. You have to decide on like boots checks plus getting the ice route and all that. That might be a point where you would do it. But it also depends on where the boots are. Like if the boots are like the last check before, then you're just going to do the boots checks first, and it's like, okay, well, I only have Trinex left.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the order that Daaanty is doing here makes a lot of sense. Doing the overworld checks first, then doing desert. Oh, we didn't actually see. Oh. Oh no.
Well, so for what it's worth, I don't think Skele scouted that either. He just went directly from what's it like? He did something in the rock area, and then he walked over. Oh, he turned in purple chest, and then he walked over to Agina, and then that was it. Even though I think he did have the flute at that point.
Oh no.
So at least both runners are in the same. My opponent could have had this or saw this, very, very early.
Oh no.
It's okay. It's okay, everyone. It's at least we don't have that much longer of the seed, presumably, to go. We don't have to think about it as much.
This hurt my soul.
It is. Oh my. All right. Okay. So for hopefully for Daanty's sake, we're gonna find those slippers relatively soon. And maybe for Skele's sake, we just never have to go into desert.
I think after you've done desert here, you'll probably go check King's Tomb, Bonk Rocks, then check Pet. I think it's a hard decision to make. It's definitely... Okay, so Skele is checking Bombos first, which is also reasonable. This is something that Daaanty has not done, despite... I think I'm already half asleep, because I don't remember if he did this or not. I don't think so.
He has not. I think he basically went straight over from, just straight up to the Mire area. Yeah, so I think he did one boots check, and then well, sorry, not boost check, one book check, and then he decided to, I guess, to dive, presumably density. Yeah, at this point, for Mire Desert Checkerboard, and also Mire Shed because he hadn't been over here yet.
Yeah. Okay, well, if those were the flippers, then it would have been pretty crazy.
Yeah, but actually looks like Pendant Turtle Rock, absolutely no value today whatsoever, like completely empty, right? So the book, in this case, just kind of led us, well, to some wild goose chases. Now, I guess the book can still have value if it lets us see what's on the pedestal and is useful. So.
True. Yeah, for Skele this makes sense. Being able to combine it with K45 as well means it's immediately going to chase the mushroom that's on there. Maybe restock on or stock on some.
Wow! Oh my gosh! All right, okay. So the good news is that Daaanty has the boots and he has the flute. Oh man, this is yeah. I don't know. So you talk about kind of like the mental, like the mentality that you're gonna go through as a seed, right? As you as you find items, have you recovered yet? From finding the boots.
No.
After you then have to find the shovel. Oh.
I'm dead.
Yeah, by the way, for this particular tournament, so this is Survivors of Hyrule, right? So every single match is a team member elimination. Daanty's team has, I think it's just him and Zelda that's still alive. Presumably gonna go play the next set of matches, and then Skele, I think the only, so he is on a 4-person team where I believe 3 people are still alive. So he's certainly hoping in this case that he could just take out, Daaanty, and then force Zelda basically to, completely play the rest of the remaining games for his team. Alright, there are the boots for Skele. Hopefully he also doesn't feel too bad. Alright, okay, so green pendant in this case is not useful whatsoever. Also, the shovel was also not good, right? So desert is also completely empty? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless bad.
Yeah, so yeah, right. So what else do we have left?
Mire. I think it's just...
Is it just Mire? Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just trying to think. Yeah, I think, yeah, you're right. I think that's
Well,
it.
you haven't seen these checks either, but...
Oh, right. Well, we have the boots checks. And I guess ultimately we still have pedestal, right? And of course, in this case, both runners, of course, are diving pendant dungeons, looking for those flippers because, logically speaking, they cannot be in Ice Palace or or Swamp because they are flippers locked. So I guess the good news is that we're gonna have 2 Go Mode Crystal dungeons in the end, Ice and Swamp. So I mean, those are at least pretty fast, right? They can be. Can be.
I mean, Argus is going to be awful.
Excellent point. At this point, I forgot that we don't have a sword, even though these guys are both dashing around everywhere they can possibly be, with nothing in front. All right, so this is gonna be Daanty's check in this case for if we actually have to go pull the pedestal, because if we are, he is gonna. I guess you can just, I guess it'd be a good metric, I guess, right? Because you can go straight to Vitreous and kill the boss if it's pedestal, or
exactly.
basically you can just leave early. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a good middle ground to actually check it. Skele decided not to finish Desert just yet. There we go! What a scene.
Oh, what a scene. Oh my gosh. Alright, okay, the value of Turtle Rock. Let me reiterate how valuable this dungeon was. Oh man. Oh, you know what? Just like higher education, especially here in the US, you pay quite a premium, for that, for that fancy knowledge. It was quite the price today.
I think they get to make use of those boots now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, all of a sudden, yeah. So you remember when you said like, what is it, like an hour and a half or 75 minutes ago, where it's just like, man, you see this really potentially valuable item here on library. So maybe that just means that we're gonna need the boots and we'll have them get that pretty early. Do you remember when you said that, Eric?
Yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Like... Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah, this is. I mean, so we didn't have to go kill Aghanim. One for the seat.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be able to leave a couple of. Well, I guess it depends on this case where the Bicky is in Meyer. So we are potentially still have to go find the rest of the dungeons. But the good news is that we're gonna be able to leave most of the checks in Ice Palace and and Swap Palace there.
Yeah, but okay, we don't need magic.
No, of course not.
Wait, how are you gonna do torches?
We'll figure it out. Well, Daanty's got a blue potion. Ray's got a green potion. Maybe he'll just, or maybe he'll just, get a drop somewhere.
Surely. Okay.
Yes. All right. So this is gonna be Skele's turn in for a green pendant. Also, not terribly happy with his Desert Palace clear, but little does he know, with that book knowledge, that the Land Molus defeat was definitely necessary, and picking up the pendant.
Yeah, we'll see what he decides to do regarding actually checking that or not. Okay, I guess that makes sense. You use step measure. I didn't think of that. Just means that you can't do spooky, but that's fine.
Oh, right, because you have to use the lamp in order to light the torches. That's right.
Yeah, unless you want to do 4 lamp dashes, that's possible.
Daaanty may not be in that mindset, by the way. After reading what was on the pedestal.
Also fair. Yes. No, okay, he's just lying. Oh no!
Oh no! All right, okay, it's okay. We got the green potion. It's like the worst of both worlds. Oh, but you know what? Daaanty is making up time in order, in this case, because he did chest turn, so we got some frames back.
Probably would have been good to actually drink a blue here. His health situation is not great.
Also, very good point. Yeah. So we do have blue mail. Blue mail doesn't make you invincible per se, but it might make you think you're invincible. But yeah, these the bomb slugs. I think they're do 3 hearts of damage on blue mail. So you definitely you're not safe from them.
Yeah,
okay,
but
so,
you'll be able to power an anti-fairy, so you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, that's true. We've already destroyed Spooky, so we've got plenty of health refills coming up. All right, so Skele has read his pedestal knowledge. We are so he beelined it to library to go get his ice rods. We're gonna go basically take out the rest of the dungeons.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. You're like quasi in go mode right now, so you just kind of go for it. Just means you have to take a couple detours. Like you have to take a detour for the ice rod, then you have to take a detour for the flippers, and then you finally get to actually go complete everything. But at least you know everything now. You just need to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's kind of like it's like you. It's not quite, I guess, officially go mode, but yeah. See, like you in this case, like you know where everything, and you know you want to do right. So you have everything that you could try to, I guess, like plan your route out. Do you happen to remember where Skele got his half magic?
It wasn't catfish.
Oh, catfish. Gotcha. Okay, so that presumably Daaanty is just never seeing in this particular scene.
No.
So yeah. So in that case, I guess like Skele's might gonna have a little bit more, a little bit better, presumably like a faster fight on Cold Stare. Although Daaanty does have 2 blue potions, so maybe he's just willing to use one of them.
Yeah, it'll probably be faster, but it's not going to be enough to actually like make a significant dent in the lead that Daaanty has right now.
Yeah, because it looks like Daaanty looks like maybe he is like 3/4 of a mire ahead. Is that...
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, Skele has to commit to both the torches. So yeah, that's a significant cutscene. And then I actually get all the way through the basement. So yeah, it's about like 2.5 minutes, I think.
Yeah, so no, certainly, yeah. I mean, these guys are still they're very well equipped, right? They have blue mail, they've got a bunch of safeties. You have silvers, which is always nice, but the lack of a sword can certainly still throw a bit of a wrench in execution, regardless of how comfortable you are in some of these.
Yeah, I mean it's not over. Like anything can happen. If you do kind of like suddenly run out of the ferry and then have an unfortunate death in GT, so stuff can definitely happen.
Mhm.
But yeah, Daaanty
Every-
I think is comfortable enough with Swordless that like really bad things aren't going to easily happen, and the half magic is not going to be that relevant with the amount of bottles that Daaanty has at this point.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, but of course, that doesn't mean that they can kind of, you know, like let down their guard, right? Swordless Gauntlet doesn't really sound like a good time.
Yeah, Skele's definitely good enough that if he just has a really good time and Daaanty has some struggles, that he can very much chip away at the lead.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, and honestly, like from what kind of see on both Daaanty and Skele, I think that, you know, they've been playing quite well, right, execution wise. It just happens to be that they were just a little, you know, late to some of the stuff that they would have both liked to have a bit earlier.
Yeah, and I think neither of the runners are feeling great at this point. Like especially like the culmination of everything was the boots on Desert Ledge.
Yeah,
I still can't get over that. But
oh my gosh, yeah, there was no scouting. I believe Skele was over there, right? So he was over there right, he was over there for Gina. I guess somewhat late, but he decided to walk over instead of flute over. From Purple Chest turn in, which is totally you know, understandable. And then Daaanty, when he went into Agina early, he just went straight to Agina. No scouting of Desert Ledge. So no, neither of these guys knew that the boots were there. Maybe they would have higher prioritized, right? You know, getting those boots if they had both kind of, you know, known about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, right. And
I think that the big like potential that Skele had if he did scout Desert Ledge the first time he went to Myers shed. Like if you do a quick flute to 6, jump off, and then flute to 6 again. People always say not to do that because it's faster to mirror and then check. Like that's like probably just better to do. But if you don't have the mirror, you still kind of check what actually is on the ledge. So yeah, maybe there was an oversight. It might have also just been, okay, I'm just gonna do a quick Myers shed check and then be on my way again. But
yeah, no, that's actually a very good point because right, Skele actually did go over to Meyer quickly, and maybe, you know, I don't necessarily know if it's like maybe just like muscle memory, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, like the first thing you flew to 6 is you go lift up the rock, right? You enter, and then you're like, oh well, I don't have the mirror. I'm sure nothing, you know, I'm sure it'll be fine. We'll just do a quick Meyer check at that point.
Yeah.
But,
And what are the odds something?
Yeah, what are the odds? Not in your favor, this particular seed. Oh, that was a really nice Waffle House, though, by the way, on Skele's side. Good read of the dead rocks and good use of the hook shot.
Love to see it. Alright, this goes to be a tricky fight, Swordless. But it's also, yeah, I find it's a really fun fight. Something with like Master Sword, Fighter Sword, using the hammer for the majority of the Trinex fight is really fun.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, so like in a swordless fight versus like I don't know, like Master Sword or Fighter Sword fight, I mean, is it roughly about the same? Or do you kind of, or are you able to kind of do things with the sword more often, or more so?
You save a menu if you have the Master Sword, or at least a couple of menus. But otherwise, like the majority of the fight is the same with Master Sword as Fighter Sword.
Okay.
You're able to incorporate a couple more slashes.
Ah, yeah, that's also true. And I guess presumably here for phase 2. I mean, phase 1 certainly is going to be the most dangerous part, right? Using the hammer, but phase 2, I assume, like you don't have any. You can probably spin your sword a lot more frequently, right?
You do still use the hammer the majority of the time.
Okay.
All right,
little did our runners know. Yeah. Little did either Daaanty or Skele know that they were going to come back the second time as a hard required.
Yeah, especially once there were 0 items left on Torok. That's so crazy. Yeah, that's how random goes. Sometimes you just get the most ridiculous seeds. Everything just comes together.
Yeah, right, at the end. All right, so Daaanty he's gotten all of his pendants, so we're gonna go visit the pedestal for the second time because we definitely read it the first time, knowing we had to come back here, and then he should be good to go for the rest of his dungeons.
Yeah, we're going to have 2 great bosses again. Yeah, Swordless Argus, definitely a highlight to see. And then Gold Stars is really tricky. Yeah, Daaanty has had a couple of instances with Gold Stars over the course of the ALttPR League.
Yeah, and I remember, and especially I remember Daaanty really trying to, I guess, come up with like a strat or something, you know, for hammerless, swordless, or sorry, not hammerless, but swordless Gold Stars. So hopefully he'll we'll end up seeing something good.
Yeah, really looking forward to what he has brewed up. Of course, it's a lot more comfortable with his current equipment, like 15 hearts.
Oh yeah, when you're not in danger of potential. Well, yeah. Hopefully, when you're not in danger of dying, yes.
Also means we're going to get 2 of the best songs of this MSU, so I'm very excited.
Oh, nice. I don't even think what do you know what MSU this is?
He's using Ace Combat 0 right now.
Okay, cool. The Moblin. It was the shield was supposed to protect us going into swamp, and it did not do its job.
Yeah, it's a dark day when the shield doesn't do its job. But that's the reason why you grab it. Like that's the only reason.
Yeah, we definitely left a shield on Floating Island. I remember that. I don't think we saw any other shield so far.
Yeah, I think that was the only one. Like aside from the one that we did get. I mean, there's not that much left, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, we are really not gonna see basically anything, you know, in Swamp Palace. We're gonna see this first chest, right? Because it has a required small key. But I think after that, well, I mean, we'll see what's on Argus.
Yeah, I don't know if Daaanty really wants to potentially look for his half magic that we know he's not gonna get, but that's still out there for him, or if he just wants even more hearts. Yeah, I don't know. That might be a little bit greedy.
Yeah, that's...
like he'll probably just feel good enough to just like actually go mode.
And and I will say, like, both runners they have the bug net as well, so it kind of at least puts some of their worries aside potentially for an Agatu fight. Without it, I don't know if you would consider the bug net to be something also worthwhile to potentially go find.
I personally wouldn't go out of my way to look for a bug net. But it's just a nice comfort to have. It's about the same level as half magic would be, I think.
Okay. Yeah, both Daaanty and Skele had gotten robbed right before going into and pulling the pedestal. I don't necessarily think it's going to be too big of an issue, but I guess we are slightly lower on bombs on Skele's side.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. 1 bomb, like. You don't need any in either dungeon, at least, so that's nice. So, like, if anything, it would be 4 GT, and you only need a couple, and you can get some along the way as well, so it should be fun. Yeah,
looks like...
I didn't realize how bad that room was in Swordless.
Yeah, I think Daaanty even specifically, he went up top, right? To try and avoid some of the enemies, and that definitely did not happen.
Yeah, still got punished.
Yeah, well, it's like at least we're gonna like towards the end, so Daaanty's gonna finish up Swamp Palace versus Skele's gonna chose to do Ice Palace first, which is also all good. Oh no.
Oh, the key? Yeah, okay, we got there.
All right, okay. Boss fight number 1 on Daaanty's side. We are doing the menu version. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So here's the question: what is the real boss? Is it Argus or is it the menu?
Yeah. What is the threshold in which you see at the very end of your credits for your menu time? It is going to be gigantic.
Yeah, especially since Quick Swap. Like usually it was like, okay, well. With this fight, you get a menu time around 2 minutes, and that's maybe an okay end, because usually you have like 1.5 minutes, and now you usually have like 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Argus happens.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I mean, I guess this is one of the unfortunate consequences of doing Argus, swordless so late. So you can use silvers in order to kill off the puffs. But the danger of quick swapping between bow and hookshot can be quite dangerous.
Yes.
Especially when there's a pesky mirror in between. Yeah, you gotta be pretty careful.
Yeah, there are limits.
I guess in theory, yeah. I guess in theory, if you did swordless like entrance or something, or maybe you didn't have a sword for when you go kill August in like entrance, I guess then maybe you don't have to have a mirror, right? Or you wouldn't have it in your inventory.
Yeah, it's possible, or an Randomizer. Like there are a couple of situations where it is possible, but it's not anything that's ever going to be super comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. All right, Daaanty is he's actually, I think, quite brave, running all the way over here to do Ice Palace, and in the midst of all of the enemies without a sword. But we got there. I would certainly be very tempted to just float over to 8 and then dive into the water, or you know, dash a little bit and dive in, because there's just nothing that can get in your way.
I think it's even just slightly faster.
Oh, okay. I will believe you, Ari. You tell me that. Is this from Daanty's file name? More cowbell?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Ooh, Skele taking on Cold Stare. He actually got a really nice hammer in earlier. So he, I think, landed one hammer shot for all 3 of the puffs at once. So that was actually quite good.
That's very team fight. Not needing to actually use the hammer or need a refill. That's such a good spot.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, that's kind of the power of half magic, right, for this fight. So
yeah. So yeah, now we're going to see the swap, and Skele's going to go over to Swamp Palace, and then once they're both done, we'll kind of see what the end difference is. But it still looks like Daanty's in a very comfortable lead.
I mean,
it's still within margins of GT routing though. Like, if Skele does go for a Yoro Tower Room play, for example, then yeah, we'll suddenly see a swap.
I really hope that neither runner just thinks that they're so far behind that they would need to, I guess, like make some very drastic differences in terms of routing decisions. But again, like when you are an hour plus into the seed and you find your boots on Desert Ledge, the first time that can certainly take the mental toll.
Okay, the shield did its work on Skele's side, so that's the redemption story
and
right
at least
there.
Yes, at least it works. We know it works. That's the most important part. Yeah, so looks like, roughly speaking, Daanty's gonna take on Cold Stare versus where Skele is going to basically just enter in Swamp Palace, so kind of roughly about a go mode Swamp's difference. Not actually sure. I guess if Skele was able to kind of make up some time over Daaanty in terms of execution, but as you said, we'll see what is happening once we kind of enter GT. Ooh, Daaanty. I think
that's still really good, but
yeah. We had a premature shot that kind of went through all the puffs, but yeah, the rest of the shots that Daaanty landed were quite good.
I think 2 hammers on this one as well. Okay.
Alright, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, the worst part is having to wait for the first puff to explode, so you can finally menu to the hammer. But all in all, that was still a really solid fight.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I think as being observed, Daaanty most likely will never have half magic for this seed, because it was on Catfish that Skele had visited earlier. So he's definitely kind of making do with a regular magic bar versus a half magic bar.
Yeah, but he does have 2 blue potions.
Right.
If push comes to shove.
Yeah, but I mean, our blue potions are basically all like our elixirs, like we could need them for another time, and then all of a sudden you've beaten the game and you still have 5 of them left or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but what if there's a final boss?
Exactly. All right, we got a pretty reasonable Death Mountain climb here so far for Daaanty, and Dead Rocks, I think maybe have taken a bit more understanding stance, decided to kind of get out of his way.
It is interesting. Usually, I would be very much in favor of people going top routes on the way to GT, or like going through the light through Paradox instead of through Super Bunny, but. In Swordless, you're going to have so many more issues with the Dead Rocks. I'm not actually sure if it's worth it.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good point, because I guess like this route has 0 enemies, right, on the screen, and at least for when you have a sword, you're dashing through all of these things, right? More often than not, your sword is probably going to nice bow dash there, Daaanty, to kill the Lionel. Very much approved.
Oh, Skele is going for the quick swaps.
Oh my dude, he is so brave.
What a mad lad!
Oh my gosh. And he's got a boomerang between the items. I mean, it's just like now he just has to be extra careful. Oh my gosh, dude. This is great. This is a lot of APM, you know, for Skele here. Well done. Well done.
That's amazing. I love it.
Skele is definitely going to take the menu time over Daaanty. All right.
Yeah,
We should,
sure.
you know what? Yeah, the tournament organizers, can we make that as part of the metric for winning? Some combination of actually, you know, beating the seed plus metric time for menu time.
I totally didn't take his Daanty's GT entry time into account, by the way. So
oh, I'm sorry. I also did not. I also don't know actually what Skele's route, I guess, for GT is either. But
I have no idea.
Yeah, but looks like Daaanty decided to not Hope Room first, right? We decided to go Stealth Room first.
Yeah.
Given that the Hope Room is completely untouched when we first came. But the fact that we have no small keys, this could add a little bit of spice.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Okay, so we're not going to get a tower room on Daanty's side. But we'll see what's going to happen here. Oh, interesting. It's got the magic pod here. A little bit of magic conservation, which makes sense because, again, our weapons are limited, especially if you want to go fast, and the fire rod is the best option. So you kind of want to keep some magic for potentially the gauntlet or anything else.
Oh yeah, no, that's actually a very good point. And the fact that, oh my gosh, all right, well, that is the big key in Compass Room for Daaanty. So if Skele is gonna go Hope Room first, that is gonna be a pretty significant time increase.
Yeah, that would be the nail in the coffin. Yeah, it looks like it's about a 2-minute difference at this point. If we have similar routes. And yeah, it doesn't look like there is a better route to take than Daaanty has done. So, yeah, unless something disastrous happens in this gauntlet, it's going to be a hard 2 minutes to overcome.
Okay, the good news for Skele, yeah, is at least oh yeah, that's right, man, Daaanty. Yeah, alright, the good news for Skele is that we are at least going left side first. He is actually going to go be a bit conscious and pick up some bombs. Not often seen on the torch, but it looks like he was a bit lower for his comfort. This MSU is actually really good. Like the climb here for GT is actually is pretty pumping.
Yeah, it's very atmospheric. Solid hammer hits on Daanty's side here. Yeah, I don't know. I find Gauntlet without swords really hard to win. Okay, well we're going to have some issues. G3 is a problem regardless.
Yeah, and yeah, actually, I think this is also one of those things that maybe you may not, I guess, like fully appreciate until you are without a sword. Because I think if you have a sword, you're swinging it left and right, you know, in the gauntlet, and then but you have like the fire rod or you have the bow in your Y item, so that you can kind of like use it, right, you know, pretty freely and snipe things. You don't really have that luxury in Swordless because the hammer's there and that's all you have. Oh no, Daaanty! Oh no, Daaanty!
Yeah, the versatility of being able to use 2 items or like 2 weapons at the same time is usually what makes Gauntlet doable. But if you're kind of stuck with either the hammer or just the bow or fire rod, then either you're going for your resources really quickly or things are just really slow.
Alright, Daaanty's also taking no chances just cane dashing through the bridge.
That verb is awful otherwise. You have to take it so safely. Also because of the vision lines of the guards sometimes like blocking your boomerang or hook shot. So it is just Yeah. It's a
Oh,
mess.
wow. No, that's actually a really good point. Right, those are one of the few rooms where... yeah, no, it's a really good point.
Yeah, there were a couple of hiccups in the gauntlet for Daaanty, like especially G3, but he managed to get through mostly unscathed and definitely had a lot of really good rooms as well to make up for it. Like or
yeah.
Lamo 2 was, well, Lamo 2. That's what happens if you use silvers and not the actual normal bow and arrow.
Yeah, exactly. Daaanty, you can please get on the bow landmost practice.
We'll get him back on the energy.
Yeah. All right. So the fact that do you think Daanty's going to just kind of bypass the last boss here? Well, we're gonna certainly take an attempt.
Okay, we're making it close here. Okay, we just make sure that he doesn't have his beams for his hammer. That's why he took that hit.
Exactly.
Okay, I think right now...
Skele!
Okay. He doesn't have a fairy, does he? Oh, he still has... No. Wait.
No, I think he's out of stuff.
Okay, well...
I cannot believe that he did not get hit by the Beamos trying to get the full magic drop. Oh, right. And because he powdered the bunny beam, the landmos are just slightly different timing now, right? When they all come out.
Yeah. Alright. Be sure to pick up the arrows here. Yeah, he does. Okay, cool. Alright. So, we're gonna see a hammer Agatsu here, apparently.
Hammer? Oh, dude, the symmetry of this pad, I don't know if I've ever actually seen that. It was so pretty. But yeah, I guess I don't know if you know that like Daaanty is more comfortable with the hammer versus like the bug net.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. I mean, he's certainly very again comfortable with Swordless. I think in general...
I like using the hammer more as well, but it's definitely riskier. But he does have the bug net, he did spike it.
Yeah, right. Both runners ended up having it as well. Alright, no, that's so... Alright, we are out of Agatsu. So at this point, would you ever close the race room, Ari? Like, you're Daaanty, you're 145 into the seed, you still have Ganon to beat, are you just closing the race room? Or wondering, why isn't my opponent done yet?
It's always on my screen. Like, I'm just glancing over every 5 seconds, and I just think I see something move because you just always mentally play yourself. But yeah, I need to know.
all fair. So Skele also first attempt hovering past in Moldrum 2. So both runners have silvers, so they definitely do not need the the guarantee of that chest. So no reason in this case to kill Moldrum if you don't have to.
Okay, this is a very comfy spot for Ganon to be at. Okay, Skele is going for the bug net stress right here, so probably saving a little bit of time over Daaanty right here. A very useful strat to use with the bug net is to do bug net dashes. Not sure if Skele got that memo.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, it just makes things a bit more consistent, is that right? Like,
yeah, it gives you a static hitbox. Okay, there you go.
Oh, look at that double. Oh. Alright, we're just gonna... Yep.
Okay, there we go.
It's okay. We just needed to orient ourselves. It's a pretty high location. You see all these windows, right? I mean, who knows where you could possibly be in the world.
Yeah, also that red thunder, it's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah, it's actually kind of scary. Alright, Daaanty is 4 silvers away from finishing the seed.
Alright. Okay, are we gonna get a hammer from the bottom? Oh, okay. A little sketchy, let's go. Very nice. 2-2.
Nice job. Nice job. Alright, get your GGs out in chat for Daaanty. A very, very hard-earned victory for this seed. Oh, wow. Alright, and so he is keeping his team alive, not being eliminated. So 2-2, so he and Zelda will fight to play another day.
Yeah, not leaving Zelda to go for the 1v3, needing him to do the
yeah.
hat trick. Yeah, this was an amazing seed to cast. Like that was.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Sorry, it's just being on a little bit on the later side, but this was an incredibly well executed race. You know, in terms of just like playing ability, right? Like the fact they don't have a sword, but they were still able to take on some really significant difficult portions of the seed was really great to see.
Yeah, probably having the comfort with the early health and blue mill definitely helped a lot, but still, they put up a great show, they did a great job. And yeah, in the end, it did turn out that the added efficiency from the early hook and mirror gave Daaanty the edge he needed.
Yeah, yeah. And it was just kind of like, again, he was like a very kind of like, just on the cusp, right? Of is Zora gonna be a good idea? Because Skele was about 450 rupees at the time when he was out of Ice Rod Cave. Just a very awkward number of rupees at that point. Turns out there was 50 rupees, you know, at Hobo, which Daaanty decided to go visit early, right before Waterfall. But you know, such as rando.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of decision points in this seed that could have made things turn out very different. The water airfoil.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Never seen that one before.
What is an airfoil? I don't think I actually even know that. I guess maybe they just mean they mean flippers.
I'm not the native English speaker here, so.
Very true, very true. All right, yeah. So Skele has now finished. We please get your GGs out in chat for Skele. I mean, also like just an incredible performance, but you know, some what a seed, right? What a seed.
Yeah, what a seed indeed.
Yeah. Although speaking of though, we are joined here by today's victor, Daaanty. GGs.
Yo, GG. What a hot mess this was.
Tell us how you really feel, Daaanty.
I'm actually very shocked that I won. I kind of felt like I was dead when it was Ped. Mainly because I dove TR without Ice Rod, knowing where it was, and then boots just being as easy as they were. So I kind of blinked for a little bit and forgot where Ice Rod was until about halfway through TR, and I was like, well, this is bad.
Would you believe us if we told you that you were the first to boots?
I honestly would not, but given the result, I guess I would say a little less surprised about that.
Yeah, alright, so speaking of, we are also joined here by Skele. GG's.
Hey, GG's.
Yo, GG.
So, how did you feel about that seed, Skele? I'll ask you also probably about the similar question. How did you feel when you saw boots?
So, I was basically thinking, when I went into TR the first time, if the flippers aren't here, I'm probably going to lose. So then, when the flippers weren't there, then I went and I found the boots. I was like, okay, now I'm really going to lose for like twice as many reasons that I thought I would. So I'm just happy it ended up being relatively close, because I thought I might lose by a lot more than that.
It sounds like we made the same mistakes. And by mistakes, I mean decisions.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, there's only really like one. I mean, there was quite some divergence, but it was mostly caused by the fact that Skele decided not to continue after Ice Rod Cave with the awkward rupee counts, and that Daaanty did go to Hobo and then to Zora. Luckily got enough money to get the early hook shot and then gained the extra efficiency from the Death Mountain clear to get the mirror. And that kind of swung things into, yeah, Daanty's edge, into Daanty's favor. Of course, the question was, where are the flippers? Because if they are not behind the hookshot or mirror, then, well, Skele probably has the advantage. But with it being on Ped, it was just, yeah.
Yeah, I thought maybe my last chance would be to check Ped a little bit earlier, but I mean, it was kind of a lose-lose situation, because if Ped was the answer, then that meant I had to go back to Turtle Rock anyway. So, yeah, after I found the boots, there really was like not a good path forward, I thought. So I'm a little bit lucky I checked Ped as quickly as I did, because I did get to skip a little bit of the overworld and some things in Mire.
Oh, right. Yeah, speaking of Meyer, so I remember you doing Meyer shed, I guess, not relatively early, but at that point, like, were you just not interested in scouting Desert Ledge? Like, before going into Meyer? Or at least the shed?
So, no, I mean, I didn't have mirror, so when I was doing that, I would have had to basically flute back to 6 a second time, I think.
Right, yeah. Like, you can, like, flute to 6, jump off, see the ledge, and then flute right back, yeah.
Yeah, I think what, like, really shot me in the foot was that I routed Purple Chest into Agina, and then I was like, Desert Ledge, that's one whole screen away. I can't be bothered to check that. But, like, if I checked Agina at some point by fluting to 6 instead, then I would have seen it, like, automatically, and that would have changed a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then of course, so Daaanty, I guess in the light world, very early he went to Agina, like just part of his, like the light world checks, and he also went straight to Agina.
Yeah, and didn't go anywhere else. I mean, the bow was like right there. You already got to walk left, and it's so far to have to double back. So you might as well just go to Agina. You know, that's not as far as doubling back across the damn entryway. But like, I don't know. I think the thing that honestly like tilted me the most this seed, or just kind of got me out of sorts, was when I went to CAC. With like the second time, I had a bottle from the mountain, and I was like, "Go to Sick Kid," and I'm like, "Wait, you got the mirror? You can do it with all this other stuff." Yeah. And then I totally spaced on it, and I was like, "No big deal. I can get back there because I got to beat thieves anyway." And then got the hammer. Just decided, all right, let's go do pod, and then the lamp's there. So I was like, "Well, I just bled a lot of time in here that I probably didn't bleed to Skele, but." My plan, like talking about the Ice Rod Cave to Hobo play, my plan was, let's just knock Hobo out, and then we'll worry about like Zora area later when we have money. And then when the 50 popped up or whatever it was that got me over the 500, I was like, well, I guess I know what I'm doing. And then the hook felt kind of good, but it didn't really feel like an advantage at that point, just because it was like, this is a logical decision. Skele may have done the same thing. So yeah, I don't know. It was just a very a sequence of unfortunate decisions, unless you just get the book early in TR and check ped, which no one's gonna do.
Yeah, the whole early game, middle game just was really, really annoying. Like there were no bombs anywhere. At least I got relatively lucky with the 50-50 bushes, so it wasn't that bad. But then, like, when you get mitts for Dark World access, you're, like, right next to Skull and Thieves Town, and you can't really finish either of them. And you have to walk past, like, both of them to get the hammer. So it's like I had to go back there, like, 2 or 3 times, and it just felt so annoying that I couldn't be more efficient.
Yeah, efficiency was very hard to come by in this one, I think. It was kind of like, do you skip Skull? I ended up skipping Skull in this case just because why not? And then, check the first 4 thieves because mirror at that point for me. And then getting hammer, it was like, well, I can either walk all the way to the left again or I can walk all the way to the right. So.
Yeah, it was kind of a silly seed. But like I said, I'm glad it was close. This event has been super fun so far. So it could have been worse.
It was super entertaining, at least from my vantage point. So thank you guys.
Yeah,
glad
you guys got to see Swordless.
Yeah,
Swordless ped seed that we didn't know until like an hour, like I don't know, like 80 minutes in or something like that. Yeah, it was great.
I mean, Swordless is still better than open, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Just Swordless open pog.
Exactly.
Okay, so I guess right. So Daaanty, so it's you and Zelda that's still carrying the torch for your team, right? So Skele, so unfortunately, I guess you can't play anymore for this particular round. Remind me who you. So it's Spear and Mindium. That's right.
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So okay. So right, you guys have played both your, I guess, like 4 like requisite ones. So then now is it just like you guys someone picks the mode and then you just send 2 more people in and that's it, type of thing?
I believe so. I will wait for the team captain Magnet Hands to let us know when our mode is rolled, what we're playing. Maybe the mode's already rolled and I just haven't checked the doc, but
it is. It's on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's on the spreadsheet. Randomizer.
Oh, okay. That would. All right, well, I guess
have
see
you
you guys
got your
soon.
bribe ready?
Unless Zelda really wants it, I'm pretty sure. Like, hi guys, it's me.
Zelda was in chat cheering that it was now a 50% chance for that.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, Daaanty's just like, put me in, coach.
Randomizer is a great equalizer of sorts. Did you know what kind of randomizer? Like full randomizer, like boss shuffle and like overall shuffle. Everything?
Chaos shuffle. I might be wrong. I've read the document a hot 30 seconds, so I'm listening to my boss, Mr. Shawn Michaels, to tell me what to do.
It is in fact chaos boss shuffle.
All right, cool.
Nice.
Okay, all right. Well,
Wait,
good luck. Have fun, both of you. All right, well, no, not Skele. You know, go pick your favorite teammate to go cheer on.
It's okay. I'll have fun watching basketball instead.
Oh baby.
But yeah, huge thanks to the both of you for putting up a great show. Like,
Mm-hmm.
as far as Swordless is concerned, you both played pretty much out of your mind for the most part, and it was great to watch.
Yeah, Kelly. Sorry, Skele. My gosh, sorry. Oh, letters are hard. I want to say like your Argus fight was really really good. Like the fact that you quick swap with silvers with a boomerang in between. Like, you are very brave.
Yeah, I've definitely mirrored doing that before, so it's a little bit scary, but it is cool when you get to show that off. But yeah, I felt pretty good about my execution overall. The one thing that really sucked was Dark Turtles, though. I thought I had enough magic for a second Fire Rod shot, but I guess it was kind of hard to tell because I was using Burnout a lot. So I guess I just barely didn't have enough for a second shot, and then I just had to do it in the dark, and that was annoying.
Yeah, the only other thing that really struck out as being really scary was your gauntlet. Like, I don't think you had any safeties in your bottles, right? Like,
Oh, no, I had 2 fairies.
Oh, you had 2 fairies? Oh, you caught some? Okay.
Yeah, I got some in Turtle Rock. I released the first fairy I had to Death Warp at one point, but I got 2 more later.
Okay, I missed that.
Okay,
then.
yeah.
Okay, so it was not as spot clenching as I thought it was, but that's good then.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, like I think you were trying to get the full magic, like the boomerang from G3 or something, or G4. I don't remember, but I was like, you barely did not get hit by the BMOS.
Oh yeah, if I didn't actually have any fairies there, I would have been dead. I would have been way too nervous to survive that.
Sometimes having the confidence is just what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you guys again, both so much for racing. I mean, it was again very very entertaining, but also very very glad to be able to see such a showcase of like good execution.
Well, thank you
luck.
guys for calming, tracking, and restreaming. Do appreciate that, and yeah, GG's again to Skele. I knew this would be like really tough. Skele, I think, clapped me real hard in that one brief season of Swordless on the ladder, so I was like, this is not gonna be easy at all.
Yeah, that was a fun season. We're all very fond of that mode, I think.
Yeah, and then I just want to say sorry. Thank you so much for our wonderful tracker, Lady Lorlinda. She has caught everything. She keeps track of all the other items, but that they found in dungeons. Definitely keeping us honest. So thank you so much. And of course, Ari, thank you again for staying up so late for this for this commentary. It was always a pleasure to be able to talk with you.
Yeah, thanks so much for the invite. Glad I could hop on, and I'm sure we'll get to do it again.
Oh, hopefully. Definitely looking forward to it. And of course, best of luck for you as well in your team in the next round.
Thank you.
Okay, Ricky, all yours.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you to the runners, Daaanty and Skele. I put everyone's follows into the chat, so please give everyone a follow. Clear Mouse, Arier, Lady Lorlinda, Daaanty, and Skele. I hope I'm saying that right. That's going to do it for ZSR tonight. Coming up tomorrow, some highlights. At 12 p.m. Eastern, we have a brand new tournament coming up. It's the Breath of the Wild All Dungeons tournament. First match here is going to be between Rom's ABT versus Pepsi Average. They're running this tournament in celebration of Tears of the Kingdom coming out soon. And then at 4:20 p.m. Tuesday Eastern Time, we have the Ocarina of Time Randomizer Standard Tournament Winners Bracket Semifinals between Ryu Kane and Seisei. And then, as far as this tournament goes, on Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, we have a quarterfinals match between Kazden and Shireen playing Casual Boots. So lots of stuff on the schedule. Hope you find something you want to watch. And with that, we're going to go and sign off here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful time and have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!